Welcome back to Iowa, as today we're in Waterloo, Iowa, Party Town, to check out the home rink of the Waterloo Blackhawks of the USHL, Young Arena. This continues my quest to try to visit every single arena in the USHL, as Waterloo is now the 7th arena visited out of 16 total arenas. And of course, as always, this 47th stadium review is brought to you in partnership with PullTab Sports. Check out PullTabSports.com for all things Midwest sports, culture, and entertainment, and be sure to give us a follow on all your social media platforms at PullTab Sports. Back on the road, headed south again for our second straight hockey stadium review from the state of Iowa, as this time we got to see plenty of dead frozen cornfields, but did get a nice sunset through it before arriving in Waterloo. This was actually my first time ever in Waterloo. I had no clue what to expect, but the arena was right on the shores of the Cedar River, and it's kind of weird though because it's flanked by one-way streets on either side of it. So getting in and out is really awkward, but that wasn't a problem because there was absolutely zero parking at the arena itself. Instead, I had to park in a parking lot at a closed restaurant just across the road, as the parking situation was one big cluster. As most of the spots in the arena lot were all blocked off, maybe for VIP parking or something, but lots of empty ones. But the exterior of the arena was super nice. It had a really clean, classy facade to it, and the twinkling lights at the very top of the arena just added that extra little pizzazz to let you know that you're in for a good time. Heading into the arena now, the cheapest seat in the barn was around $18, so we headed on in and onto the Concourse. The Concourse sits at the top of the main seating bowl and gives you a great view down at the ice below, as there's also a ton of standing rail spots where you can put your drink and food there and watch the game standing. However, it was pretty thin and crammed on the Concourse, but there were some crop outs for some different bars and restaurants within the arena itself. I really enjoyed the wall of all the former players that now play in the NHL, especially seeing Brock Besser, big fan of him. I absolutely loved how there are large windows on the side of the arena that looks out to the Cedar River. The south end of the rink had the team store, and there was a ton of fun stuff in there, and of course, since it is USHL in the state of Iowa, plenty of cowbells to go around, as cowbells are definitely a USHL staple in Iowa. But something interesting that I realized here is how much they play off the actual Blackhawk. So when you think of the Blackhawks, initially you think of the Chicago Blackhawks, who get their name from the Native American chief. But Waterloo, Iowa is actually in Black Hawk County, Iowa, which is why they're the Waterloo Blackhawks. And I think they got some pretty clean branding and a really slick logo. So of course I had to pick myself up a puck for the occasion, and I absolutely love this official game puck. Beautiful. And right outside of the team shop, you got a great view of the old school goal horn. Really cool to see this, since a lot of time the sound is just pumped through the speakers. And there is also a wall showcasing some of the ice hockey heritage here in Waterloo, as the Waterloo Blackhawks are actually the longest standing team in the USHL, as they were formed way back in 1962, which is 10 years older than the next oldest club. So there is quite a lot of hockey history here in Waterloo. Walking around the Concourse, I have never seen this many great options for food in such a small arena. They've got barbecue, donuts, Chick-fil-A, there's Domino's. So much good stuff. One of the concession stands, the Young Arena Grill, is tucked down in one of the corners of the arena, and you kind of have to go through the sections to get down there. I hit it up and got some absolutely delicious cheese curds. But you know what we're really here for. The hot dog. Starting out with price, $4 for a hot dog, not too shabby. We're going to give it a 4 out of 5. For presentation, it's in this sad little piece of wax paper. That is not what we were hoping for. 2 out of 5 for presentation. The bun looks pretty decent, but how's it taste? Well, a little cold and a little average. 3 out of 5 for the bun. And for the meat, the dog itself, well, it was actually super salty and kind of tastes like a Vienna sausage. 2 out of 5. So add it up and divide by 2 for our total score of 5.5 out of 10. Not the best hot dog we've had recently, but certainly not the worst so far, as that puts Waterloo at 5th of our hot dog ranking so far out of 7 stadiums visited. Having a look at the seating layout, Young Arena was built in 1994 and holds a total capacity of 3,500 for ice hockey. It's a pretty standard junior hockey design with a single tier U shape going around the arena, with one of the sections behind the nets being completely bleacher seats, and this is where we sat with the cheapest seats in the stadium. But what's really interesting is that this general admission bleacher section is actually separated from the regular seating by some railings. At the far end of the rink, there are some suites in the corners and standing room high above the net on the open end, which gives you a fantastic view of the ice, and there's a private party area down below it. From the main concourse, there are tons of spots to stand from like we saw earlier, and those were heavily used during the game. There isn't really much of a press box as it just kind of juts out from the concourse into some of the seats. Above that, there are tons of banners lining the rink showing off the hockey history of this town, with some of them dating all the way back to the 1960s. And even higher up above that, the ventilation system really stands out in this bright blue color. This really reminds me of the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders Arena, how they had the same kind of ventilation standing out and they smacked logos all over it. But the decision here to make it bright blue is really interesting since it's not a team color at all. But overall, it's a pretty standard layout for junior hockey, definitely gets the job done, and the stadium has a very tight, intimate feel to it. As anywhere you sit, you feel like you're right on top of the action. I'll tell you what right now, there's absolutely nothing better than a cold Friday night in Iowa taking in some junior hockey. Let's go. And Waterloo knows how to set the mood right. Getting the lighting, the smoke, absolutely love it.
Number 13, it's hockey time in
I tried to ask some locals why it's called Party Town, never really got a good answer, but hey, Party Town, let's go. The Blackhawks got out to an early lead over the Sioux Falls Stampede, and the crowd was definitely into it with all the cowbells ringing. I lucked out and picked a pretty good section since just over to my right there were some of the craziest fans in all of Waterloo with their light up flags and drums banging the whole entire game. And I do give a lot of credit to the fan base as a whole as they seemed really knowledgeable about the game. They made almost as much noise for a save as they did for a goal. Okay, now this is why I absolutely love junior hockey. First intermission, there's someone out in a kangaroo suit on the ice skating around, absolutely sniping biscuits popcorns. Why? Why not? It's junior hockey. It's absolutely unhinged and awesome. Before the teams came out for the second period, the Blackhawks mascot had a little bit of fun with the crowd, getting everyone pumped up, telling everyone when to cheer. I've always got mad respect for an engaging mascot like that. There's a pretty good crowd on hand as the building was almost at capacity and they were chanting throughout the entire game, very into the game. And of course, I had to indulge in my tradition of the second period section hop and had to go high above the opposite net goal as you're almost right over the goalie. Amazing view. And this scrum led to a pretty fun boo yay cam going from the penalty boxes. For the start of the third, the mascot got even more into his hype man role and got the whole barn buzzing, as the stadium had a lot of unique chants that I really couldn't make out.
Still can't figure out what they're saying.
There's plenty of cowbells, and love was in the air for these two random people that I met at the start of the game that I kind of became friends with. It was their second date or whatever, so exciting, I guess. With the game not at one apiece late, we were headed to overtime. Check out this amazing hype reel on the video board before overtime started. And the Blackhawks found the game-winning goal early in overtime to send everyone home happy. And of the 7 USHL stadiums that I've visited so far, that's 6 stadiums where the home team has won. And after leaving the game on my way to my accommodations for the night, which was, yes, a casino parking lot where I slept in my car in 18-degree weather, but on the way there, I actually saw this place called SAC's Pub. Absolutely fantastic. Wish I was able to stop in for a drink, but had to catch some sleep as the next day I was headed down to Springfield to catch the Springfield Junior Blues. So hey, maybe go watch that video next. And I know I've typically been doing 3 USHL stadiums a year, but with changing jobs and moving, that just wasn't realistic this past hockey season, as Waterloo was the only stadium that I got to. But thank you so much for watching. This was a blast in Waterloo. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And look at this, I've got Steam reviews out 2 weeks in a row. Is that possible? Yes, it is. We're back and we're flying now. As next week's video, we're going to be staying in the state of Iowa, but switching up sports. And I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.